You should be thanking the oceans. And that's because the oceans are 70% of this planet and provide through phytoplankton, seaweed, algae, and coral reefs the oxygen we breathe. Well, what else does coral actually do? Most people do realize that they are less than 1% of the bottom of the ocean, but yet they provide 25 to 40% of all the fisheries we like. Everybody likes to eat, right? Well, what else did they do? Well, our oceans are one of our biggest economic steamboats here. If we don't have the reefs, we don't have the tourist dollars. But one last fact I'd like to talk about that most people don't realize is that living coral reefs break the storm waves, the surges, and the hurricane damage that actually allows us to live along the coast that we love. Without those coral reefs, and without those coral reefs being alive and growing as sea level rises, we will not be able to breathe, eat, economic jobs, or live near the coast that we love. So we should pay attention to the reefs. And many have seen in the news that the reefs are in trouble. And since the 1970s and 80s, when sea level temperatures started to rise, we started to lose our corals. Well, what's causing this and what can be done? Well, we can do a few things locally. We can protect marine protected areas. We can wait, hopefully, in protection from some of the stressors locally and hope that Mother Nature comes back. We can improve water quality. We can do the best thing we can, which is to lower our CO2 emissions. Because without that, the long-term corals are in deep trouble. So globally, we must lower those CO2 levels if we really want the corals and all of us to survive. But what can we do now? We can actually restore living corals. Oh, what do you mean, restore living corals? You're going to put corals back just so they can die? So if we can take those corals, the ones that are resistant to today's conditions, and we can make more of them, we can build a new reef. But how are we going to be doing that? Most people think corals grow very slow, right? Well, we can do it with coral nurseries, and that's being done now with one of the faster growing corals, the branching corals, the staghorn corals, the ones that looks like a deer's antlers. This species actually evolved for years to be a fragile branch. When storms came and broke it into pieces, some of those pieces reestablished on the bottom and grew back to be a new coral, sort of a vegetation reproduction, just like you would cut a plant. We can do that underwater in coral nurseries, and it's one of the old tricks that is now being improved with technology for ways to grow those faster. A 1-inch piece of staghorn coral in 6 months to a year grows 10 more inches, and then we can plant some of those. So we can take staghorn and elkhorn off the endangered species list in just a few years. We can restore the reefs in our lifetime. We can go from this, the old picture, back to the new picture, but with your help. People ask me, what will it cost us to restore the reefs? I'll have to ask you, what will it cost us if we don't?